And I'm not going to leave here ever, ever again. Because I love you all. And, oh, Auntie Em, there's no place like home.
Welcome to Ms. Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 emotional last lines in movies.
There's no Hogwarts without you, Hagrid.
Okay.
For this list, we'll be looking at some of the most tear-jerking final lines in films. To be clear, these don't necessarily have to be the very last line spoken, but rather the last words a character says, whether it's to the audience or someone else. Since we'll be talking about the endings of these movies, a spoiler alert is in effect. What last movie line makes you emotional? Let us know in the comments. Number 10. Landon Carter and Jamie Sullivan's Love, A Walk to Remember. This whole movie is one massive emotional meltdown after another. From learning about Jamie's illness until this very last line, you'll be crying your eyes out the whole time.
It's like the wind. I can't see it, but I feel it.
What do you feel?
When Landon signed up for the school play to avoid being expelled or imprisoned for injuring another student, Jamie made him promise he wouldn't fall in love with her. But he did anyway.
One condition though, Carter.
What's that?
You have to promise you won't fall in love with me.
Watching their love bloom slowly throughout the movie was a beautiful thing to witness, which made this last line all the more heart-wrenching.
I told you not to fall in love with me.
Their love transcended death, and will always remain even though Jamie's gone.
But our love is like the wind. I can't see it, but I can feel it.
Number 9. Hazel Grace Lancaster and Augustus Gus Waters' catchphrase, The Fault in Our Stars.
I believe we have a choice in this world about how to tell sad stories.
This is yet another movie designed to have you reaching for the tissues for the entire runtime. But if you somehow manage to hold yourself together until the end, this final line will break you. Due to their cancer diagnoses, Hazel and Gus agree that it's unrealistic to promise each other a forever love. So instead, they just say okay, as an acceptance of their uncertainty.
Perhaps okay will be our always.
When it turns out that Gus is sick again, he writes Hazel a letter that she reads after his death where he tells her how special the time they had together was, and he repeats their catchphrase to let her know that everything is all right.
You don't get to choose if you get hurt in this world, but you do have a say in who hurts you. And I like my choices. I hope she likes hers. Okay, Hazel Grace?
Hazel responds with one word.
Okay.
Number 8. BFFs, The Fox and the Hound. This moment is very bittersweet.
Look at that. A fox and a hound playing together.
As the song goes, they were the best of friends. When they were just a couple of little pups, Todd and Copper were inseparable.
When you're the best of friends, having so much fun together, you're not even aware you're such a funny pair.
But as they grew up, they were pitted against each other again and again. In the end, they still had each other's backs, but they still had to separate pretty much forever. Although everything seems to be okay in the end, it's still pretty tragic. Hearing the echo of Todd and Copper declare their best friendship as the last lines of the movie is just heartbreaking. Big Mama Owl was right. If only people would just let them play.
Copper, you're my very best friend.
Number 7. Frodo Baggins acknowledges Samwise Gamgee, the Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring. Sam was way too good for Frodo. He had his back all the way down, and Frodo tried to ditch him at the end of the movie.
Frodo! No, Sam.
Before there was the Fellowship, Sam was at Frodo's side through it all. And when the group got separated, he wasn't about to let Frodo go the rest of the way alone. Sam nearly drowns trying to get to Frodo.
You can't swim!
The scene is heart-wrenching to watch. With each passing second, it seemed that Frodo was really going to leave him there. Thankfully, with this line, Frodo accepts just how much he needs his best friend. The ring may be his to bear, but that doesn't mean he has to make the trip alone.
Sam. I'm glad you're with me.
Number 6. Shrek tells Princess Fiona who the real damsel in distress is. Shrek Forever After. Part of what makes the Shrek movies so great is that they're not your typical fairy tale. In fact, they are the exact opposite.
Wake up!
In the first movie, Fiona is waiting in her tower for Prince Charming on a noble steed to come rescue her. But instead, she gets Shrek and Donkey.
You're an ogre.
Oh, you were expecting Prince Charming?
Well, yes, actually.
It might not have been what she was expecting, but they had their own special happily ever after. In the final movie, with this last line, Shrek tells Fiona that she in fact is the one who rescued him.
You know, I always thought that I rescued you from the Dragon's Keep.
You did.
Before Fiona, he was a lonely, angry, reclusive ogre that everyone feared. But with her, he got the happy ending he never imagined he could have.
No. It was you that rescued me.
Number 5. Home Sweet Home, The Wizard of Oz. This classic line will never get old.
And think to yourself, there's no place like home. There's no place like home.
There's no place like home.
Dorothy wished that she could go someplace more exciting and, well, colorful than Kansas.
They don't understand you at home. They don't appreciate you. You want to see other lands, big cities, big mountains, big oceans.
Why, it's just like you could read what was inside of me.
Over the rainbow, she got to meet interesting new friends, go on exhilarating adventures, and save all of Oz from the Wicked Witch.
You cursed brat! Look what you've done! I'm melting! Melting! Oh, what a world! What a world!
But nevertheless, all she wanted upon arriving was to find her way back to Auntie Em. Just like the Scarecrow, Tin Man, and Lion discovered that what they were looking for was inside them all along, Dorothy discovered that everything she ever needed was right there at home.
And I'm not going to leave here ever, ever again, because I love you all. And, oh, Auntie Em, there's no place like home.
Number 4. E.T.'s Goodbye to Elliot. E.T. the Extraterrestrial. This moment could bring tears from a stone. After being accidentally left behind on Earth, E.T. is discovered by Elliot and the two become the best of friends. They even have some sort of psychic link.
Elliot thinks it's thoughts.
No, Elliot feels his feelings.
So you can imagine how devastated the both of them were when they had to say goodbye. The government finds out about the alien's presence on Earth and comes to collect him. Naturally, Elliot pulls out all the stops in trying to protect his otherworldly friend and return him home when his people come back. We were all just as emotional as Elliot when, with his parting words, E.T. reminds Elliot that he'll always be with him in his memories. Number 3. Wreck-It Ralph's Epiphany, Wreck-It Ralph.
My name's Ralph, and I'm a bad guy.
This movie centers on Ralph, a video game character designed to be a villain, but in his heart was a hero. All Ralph wanted was a little respect and acceptance from his peers.
You know, this angry little guy here might be a lot happier if you put him up here with everyone else. See that? Look at that smile.
No. You see, Ralph, there's no room for you up here.
Along his journey, he met Vanellope, another character looking to prove herself, and the two forged an unbreakable bond.
Just stink brain. Gee, thanks.
Turn it over. I made it for you. Just in case we don't win.
This line is emblematic of Ralph's journey, not just to gain the acceptance of others, but to gain self-acceptance.
I'm bad, and that's good. I will never be good, and that's not bad. There's no one I'd rather be than me.
His whole life, he'd been told that he was bad. But after all of his heroism, everyone finally saw him for who he really was. And he saw that if someone as special as Vanellope cares about him, he's not so bad after all.
Turns out I don't need a medal to tell me I'm a good guy. Because if that little kid likes me, how bad can I be?
Number 2. Rubeus Hagrid and the School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets.
Sorry I'm late.
Even before Ron and Hermione came along, Hagrid was Harry's first friend. In the second installment of this franchise, the Big Three started to learn about his past and even started having their doubts about him. But when Hagrid was taken to Azkaban, they still had his back and tried to find out the truth.
That's a lie. Hagrid never opened the Chamber of Secrets.
Then you're not the monster.
No. The monster was born in the castle.
When Hagrid was finally cleared and came back to Hogwarts, the entire Great Hall erupted in cheer, and Harry assured him that Hogwarts was just not the same without him.
There's no Hogwarts without you, Hagrid.
It's okay, Hagrid, our eyes welled up too. This was even more emotional than Harry's closing line from the Philosopher's Stone.
I'm not going home. Not really.
Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Andy Dufresne and Alice Boyd Red Redding reunite, The Shawshank Redemption.
I hope the Pacific is as blue as it has been in my dreams. I hope.
Rose DeWitt Bukater never forgot Jack Dawson, Titanic.
3 years. I've thought of nothing except Titanic, but I never got it. I never let it in.
Jack Twist and Ennis Delmar Forever, Brokeback Mountain.
Jack, I swear.
Edward Teddy Daniels self-examines his own darkness, Shutter Island.
Which would be worse? To live as a monster? Or to die as a good man?
Susie Salmon's Message from the Beyond, The Lovely Bones.
I was here for a moment. And then I was gone. I wish you all a long and happy life.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Woody's Farewell to Andy, Toy Story 3.
Thanks, guys.
Toy Story 4 may have delivered the ending of all endings, but this last line had everyone in tears.
To infinity and beyond.
When the toys realized that Andy didn't really want to get rid of them, they did everything humanly, or toyishly possible, to get back to him. It was time for Andy to say goodbye, but they meant way too much to him to just get rid of. So, he passed them down to Bonnie, a young girl who would love and enjoy them just as much as he did.
Someone told me you're really good with toys. These are mine, but I'm going away now. So I need someone really special to play with them.
Who didn't cry when Woody spoke his last words to Andy as he was driving away to college? What is with this franchise and its bittersweet goodbyes?
So long, partner.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from Ms. Mojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.